Hey everybody, welcome to Paranormal Into the Night right here on the Late Late Horror Show. Remembering Art Bell, it is the first episode or show I listened to that got me into Art Bell, so I can't wait to talk about this. Hey Dave, what's going on? How you doing?
It's going great. How are you?
Oh
I think
my
it's
God.
ironic that this is your first.
Yeah. Uh-oh. What's going on, Dave?
That's
Are
me.
we having
That's me.
interruption already? No, don't
Good
say
God,
that.
it's the government.
Oh boy, do we got stuff to talk about, you
Oh
guys.
man, I can't wait.
Oh yeah, and I'm gonna play the clip, the actual clip here of what's going. We'll talk.
You know
Oh
what you
my
should
God, so many things to do. Let me play a late late horror show intro. Should I do that? I don't know.
do
There
it.
we go.
Do it.
Is it just me? Or is it getting crazier out there?
Anyways, hey everybody, welcome once again to Paranormal Into the Night right here on the Late Late Horror Show. I'm Dino. That's Dave Plouffe. Does not want to end up a lump in the desert.
No,
It's funny every time we do these shows. No, yeah, you don't want to. You don't want to be a lump. And boy, are you blurry. You better wipe off your lens. That's weird. Um, yeah, all kinds of issues going on here today. You think they're trying to stop the stream?
it's
Oh.
either them or the Oscars.
Or the Oscars, yeah, the Oscars. Anyways, who cares? Let me say hello to everybody. Make sure you guys hit that thumbs up button, all that good stuff, please. Thank you. Leave a comment, all that. It's funny how UFO talk starts up again. Have we gotten any further with disclosure in UFO? I think so, a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, it's on the news all the time, and big people are admitting it. Governments are admitting it and talking about it. It still goes over everybody's heads, and that's the thing I knew was going to happen. And Art Bell always said, the minute people start talking and saying it's real, population will freak out and chaos will ensue. But I never thought that that would happen, and it doesn't look like. People just ignore it like it's National Enquirer or something like that. They're like, the government's saying what? Crashed UFO, and they've sent people out to that location. Oh, how funny! They don't care. Anyways,
Go
let's
wait
not get
for the Bigfoot story to follow that.
Oh, and yeah, and the Bigfoot story. Yeah, yeah. Hello, Phil Jones, Edward Stewart, John Swan, Laura. Hopefully your birthday was good yesterday. Connie Clary, Glenn Dunaway, JLR, Edward Stewart, Okra. Yeah, it says Pentagon putting on UFO info video and then retracts the information screen. Well, I mean, there's still a lot of that going on. I mean, disinformation is always going to be out there. WTF Horror and Sci-Fi, what's going on at Stathis? I think that's everybody. So yeah, Dave, talk a little bit about what we're going to talk about here, and then we'll play the clip. I can't wait to talk about this. Hey, WWM.
All right. So September 11th, 1997, the most infamous day in Art Bell history. Art Bell, if you're not familiar with him, he is a talk show host from the basically 1990s all the way up to the early 2000 teens. And he broadcast out of Nye County, Nevada. He lived within driving distance of Area 51. And he himself ran into UFOs with him and his wife, Ramona. He is a paranormal talk show host, very much like the gentleman above me. And he is really among the heroes that both Dino and I have as far as radio goes.
Yes.
There's no one better than Art Bell for late night radio. And we would stay up late night, obviously not together, and listen to Art Bell and his wonderful topics. One of them is he would open up these weird lines where you could be, an Area 51 worker, a time traveler, things like that. And so this is the Area 51 singing line. And if you were a past or present employee, one person was actually a future employee.
Future?
Yes.
Yeah.
You could call this number. And the person who called that we're going to play the example for is came out actually toward the very end of the show in about the third hour. So, but I mean, it rippled throughout the rest of Art Bell's career.
Oh yeah, 100%. This is, and I'll tell my story real quick, and then we'll play the clip. But hello, Ron Sylvia, Tune the News. Yes, Edward Stewart got me that Jason mask light up. It's very cool. Thank you, thank you, thank you. As always, yeah, Edward Stewart, awesome. This was the episode, like Dave said, staying up late at night listening to these shows. I'm still a late night person, but the stuff that's on now, George Norrie just doesn't cut it for me. So I go back and re-listen to these old shows. But hey, Professor Strangefinger, what's going on? Oh yes, oh boy. Anyways, Dave, he sent me a silent secret message, and it was funny. Okay, so I was turning on my radio. I always did that late at night. A lot of people probably did back in the day. And as I was going to sleep, I like to tune in. It's funny. Try to run overs. I like to tune the stations, and you get those faint signals in and out, Dave. And it was just so cool trying to pick up like far away broadcasters and stuff. And one night I heard, I think Alien or something popped in, and it was very faint and it was fuzzy, but it was the Art Bell show. What are you laughing?
I was going to ask you, I want to ask you about number stations. When you were talking last night a little bit, and I was wondering if you had heard about number stations as well.
Number stations. Tell me what?
Okay, we'll deal with that later.
Okay.
That just jumped into my mind from last night.
Okay, number stations. Do I need to write that down? Okay,
yes.
Number stations.
I have it written down too.
Okay, so I came to this Art Bell show. I was listening to it, laid back. I'm like, oh my God, this Art Bell, this is great. This is awesome. And then it was the Area 51 line where like Dave said, employees or past, whatever, would call up and like, and that most of these people probably are calling up and cranking and saying, but so you got to rate, out of 10. Do you think this is possible? Is this guy serious? But
it was very much like that one Seinfeld episode where Elaine is all fake, 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 fake. That is what the Area 51 callers were. There were maybe 15 callers during the entire show that said they were from Area 51, and probably 2 were actually really good. And this is the third one, by the way, the famous one.
Yeah. He had others, of course. Well, everybody's talking about number stations now. What is it, real quick? I need to know now.
So number stations originated as far back as early radio, especially during the World War I, World War II stages, where you would tune in and you would just hear numbers like 4, 5, 8, 10, 3, 2, and weird dialects and everything too. And a lot of times this was allegedly secret codes, going to, foreign powers that were in our country, spies basically. And you could, sometimes you would just randomly pick them up, but they're very hypnotic.
Oh, nice. No, oh yeah. I mean, I see those on the old Sherlock Holmes and Charlie Chan, secret little number station. Anyways, very cool. Okay. And that still goes on, Dave?
I'm not sure. The last time I really heard about them was in Art Bell
Okay.
in the late 90s.
Okay.
So
Okay. So this clip that I'm going to play right now is the famous clip, probably one of the most famous clips on that Art Bell ever had. I think really, I think this sums up Art Bell's career and what he did. I think it really does, and it's short. But what happens afterwards is a question that many people keep trying to answer and think about and still talk about to this day. And I did mention a while back that I heard that this was a hoax. I went doing some research again on the internet, the interwebs, and I don't know if that's disinformation in itself because I couldn't really put down any concrete evidence that this was a hoax. Um, a couple people came out and claimed it was them or it was this guy, and this guy came out, but I could never find it. I could never find this guy. I could never find the interview he gave or what they said. And I'm like going, okay, so none of this still is making any sense. People are saying things, but I'm finding no evidence behind it. So
and just to be clear, it's not you.
it's not me. And I was thinking of playing my clip towards the end of this show to give kind of a reference on what people can do if they really want to call and sound like a wackadoo. You know what I mean? Because that's what I did. But this guy, up in the air, you can make your own judgment on if this is really a guy calling in that used to work at Area 51 and is being chased by the government. It's up to you. Yeah, let's stop and let's just start to play this. Dave, and if I need to stop, I'll just stop. It's very short. It's not long, but this is Art Bell picking up the Area 51 caller line and talking to this guy. So here we go, Dave.
On my Area 51 line, you're on the air. Hello.
Hello, Art.
Yes.
Hi. I don't have a whole lot of time.
Well, look, let's begin by finding out whether you're using this line properly or not.
Area 51.
Yeah, that's right. Were you an employee or are you now?
A former employee.
Former employee.
I was let go on a medical discharge about a week ago, and I've kind of been running across the country. Oh man, I don't know where to start.
Okay, I'm stopping it real quick just because, again, this guy, listen to his voice. And I mean, listen, people can be great actors, can really, put one over on you. You know what I mean? But the inflection in his voice, everything just sounds so real. And then, the discharge, medical discharge. And then what gets me is the fact that he's running across the country trying to, evade the people that are chasing him. Couple things there. It's like, could he really, one guy that sounds so frantic, evade the government, Dave? I mean, is it possible? I guess so.
I think so. I was actually thinking what a great movie this would make.
Oh God.
Just this one call.
Yes.
Of what he knows from Area 51, the people that are running after him. Yeah. And to a certain extent, that's what happened to Bob Lazar as well. People were breaking into his home, breaking into his car while he was at the gym. Everything laid out just to let him know that they knew where he was and what he was doing. I do believe that this is a true call, that this guy is truly scared. If not, he should be on another channel tonight.
Yeah, well, and I'm going to keep playing it. There's more to it.
Okay.
I just had to stop it because me just thinking, and let me thank Black Roses gifted one Late Horror Show membership to John Swan. Thank you very much. And Horror Junkie for Life is here. Member for 29 months, over 2 years of level 2 support. Thank you very much, Horror Junkie for Life. I really, really appreciate that. As well as everybody else in here. Lawrence Gilmore, hey guys, just found your show. Sounds very interesting. Number stations, despite. Yep. All good stuff. Welcome. Hit that thumbs up, you guys. Please show some love. And John Swan, yeah, I said that. Okay, so Yeah, I just picture the whole process. This guy, like you said, it would make a great movie. Running across the country trying to evade the government after being discharged from Area 51, the military, and trying to get information out, which we'll talk about in a second. And I now continue. Hello, CM. Continuing with the caller.
They're gonna they'll triangulate on this position really, really soon.
So you can't spend a lot of time on the phone. So give us something quick.
Okay. What we're thinking of as aliens are they're extra dimensional beings that an earlier precursor of the space program made contact with. They are not what they claim to be. They have infiltrated a lot of aspects of the military establishment, particularly the Area 51. The disasters that are coming, the military.
Okay, real quick. 1997. Dang it, Leatherface fell off the table again, the desk. Anyways, thank you, Connie Clary, super chat $4.99. What are you making out of that, really quick, Dave? Anything?
Well, I think the whole thing that we're still scared of the government and what they know and what they can do.
How about the aliens and how he's talking about them?
You know,
I mean,
one
listen,
thing to keep in mind. One thing,
the whole interdimensional beings, and he's saying they're not what we believe them to be. You know.
Okay, it's been 25 years.
Thank you, Connie. Yes, it has been.
You know, and I think the aliens may, who knows, whether they've taken our form, like, well, what is it we watched together? Them with Rowdy Piper, where they take the form of
They live.
things, you know.
Them is with the giant insects.
Oh, that is with the giant ants.
Yeah.
They live with Rowdy Piper.
Yes.
And you know, maybe we do need those special glasses to see who is and who isn't.
Well, I think we get another caller here a little bit later that talks just about that, and we'll touch on that they are here, and they talk about other races of alien species and stuff, but we'll talk about that. Let me continue. Yeah.
I'm sorry, the government knows about them, and there's a lot of safe areas in this world that they could begin.
Before it's almost over, but before I get, like, the thing that got me with this, that almost threw me, like, going, oh, yeah, what's this all about? Is that it's about the weather and about catastrophes. Like, of all things he's talking about to Art Bell, it's about catastrophes, not the aliens or what the government's doing at the Area 51 or S4 or anything like that. That's what got me. I'm like going, boy, if it was only a little more interesting, the storyline, because we've heard that over and over and over again, and nothing's really happened yet. But you know what I'm saying, Dave?
You mean like the kill shot?
Yes. But of all things he's getting kicked off the air for is because of unless he was going to go on and talk about other things. Like, the government knows about these. And I would ask, why would the government listen? I shouldn't even be interrupting. Let's just play the rest of this thing, then we'll go.
Moving the population to now are.
But they're not doing anything.
They are not. They want the major population centers wiped out so that the few that
Believe
are left
that
will be more easily controllable.
Discharged.
Cut out right there. Cut out again.
I started getting.
Okay, that's where we ran into trouble.
Well, this was certainly interesting. We are now on a backup system, everybody. A backup system. And that one caller that I had on the air, I guess we were about in the middle of his transmission, his telephone call, which was one of the strangest ones I've ever had. And the entire transmitting system by satellite went down here, and we were notified we were off the air. And it would appear to be from this end and some sort of massive transmit failure. So we are now using a backup system to be on the air. And
okay, so that's it. That's it. And I don't know the experience you had, Dave. And hello, everybody that's coming in. Principal of Photography, Joshua Taft, Jimmy D, Professor Strangefinger, Kimby. Good to see everybody popping in here.
I'm sorry, did you mention CM?
And yes, I said CM right before I restarted it. MOR, hello. I had a different experience, Dave, than what this was. I heard more information. I mean, I heard more of the broadcast. Did you?
Interesting. No. We actually, he mentions that the network cut in the Mark Furman tape, and that is what I heard.
Okay. And you know what? Well, I'll talk about that afterwards. Why I believe this is really did happen. Like people could say this was set up by the radio station, Art Bell, stuff like that. And listen, it got knocked off the air. The main transmitter that transmitted everywhere globally, I think, because other countries never got it back.
Right.
And that's the one thing that told me, listen, this Bryce Edwards, hello.
And
That's and DJ Zadok, what's going on? I used to sell timeshare, and I can tell you right now, I can read people, and that person on the phone was genuinely terrified, scared to death, authentic. DJ Zadok. Well, stay tuned to the end of the show, and I'm going to play a clip of me calling and losing my mind with Art Bell. But anyways, it's the one thing that just made me feel like this. And welcome everybody. It's good to see everybody, new faces. Make sure you hit that thumbs up, subscribe, all that good stuff.
By the way.
And yes, he did sound scared, but he was knocked off the air, the satellite feed, and they got it up again, through a backup or something like that. And only in the United States, as far as I could ascertain. Canada, there was a caller later on that said he wasn't picking up the radio station. So, other than the United States, the other satellites that broadcasted to other countries weren't picking it up, which made me think if they did this on purpose, that wouldn't be the case, right? So, but what I heard, Dave, because there were people who did call up. There were sections of this show that somehow didn't make it in the one we listened to, because other people called up and heard some other stuff too. Like some other people heard when it was cutting off, they could hear another voice talking about cutting in. I don't think you heard that.
Correct.
Yeah, Barry St. Clair, hello. But I heard a little bit more of an extended version of what was going on. So I don't think in the Cleveland area, WTAM, 50,000 watt station, was getting just a tiny bit more of the feed, because I heard him, the being scared and all that stuff. But I heard at the very end that I heard Art, they're at the door, and you could actually hear what sounded like the door opening up, and Art actually confirmed that in a later broadcast. Never talked about it on this one, but did talk about that afterwards, I think because he was a little worked up from the whole situation. But I heard just a little bit of that, like the breakup. He came back real quick, broke up, and then I could hear what sounded like somebody coming in the doors, and that's when the scream happened that Art Bell said he heard a scream. And then it just cut off.
Did we know the location where this person was? Was it a hotel room? Did he say where he was?
He did say a hotel room, and they're going to triangulate on this, position very quickly. Let's see. Go ahead, Dave. I'm just looking at the chat real quick. Is it possible the correlation? I'm trying to see. Brian always has some questions. Correlation isn't causation. Two things happening at the same time doesn't mean one lead to another. A nut called in the station lost part. Brian, listen. I mean, anything's possible, I will tell you, my friend. But I don't. I think those odds are like the lottery. I don't think I've ever heard all the Art Bell, shows that I've heard has ever happened again.
Yeah. And if this was a publicity stunt,
Yeah, good
it was
job.
one hell of a publicity stunt. It's
Yeah.
something that he is going to use for the next 15 years of his broadcasting to talk about this one event, and nothing even comes close to this. This is something that, as you mentioned, it is the entire broadcast unit up in the sky goes down, and having to work on backup power and everything like that. It is,
Well, and the small things I call it too, like where Canada said, listen, the feed still isn't up in our country,
well,
Um,
what got me was one of the later callers, Barbara, and her husband Mark, and they were calling from nearby, I think in Arizona, and
Yeah.
their phones had gone out. So, and then
At the
Art
same
Bell
exact
says
time.
there was just maybe this electronic pulse in that area just to knock out all communications.
Yeah, and somebody said that. Another Area 51 caller said magnetic pulse, and of course, that is what you would use to either take out a satellite or disrupt a transmitter, blow out a transmitter, something like that. Yeah, I don't know all the ins and outs of running a radio station and how that works, but
Hell,
it
we can
totally
barely do
100%
research.
makes sense for sure. Hey there, RJ Sweeta. Good to see you. And yes, congratulations, Ed and Penny. Much love to you guys, man. Sounded fake and sounded legit. It's up to the viewer. Well, exactly. That's why I'm trying to put together, Joshua Taft, the little bits that you get out of there. And we just mentioned about 6 different things that kind of are on the side of this seems real. I mean, the people calling from near Area 51 and Art Bell, and their phones went out and stuff like that. There's way too many things that and if you do some research on it, I couldn't find anything to corroborate anything that people were trying to give disinformation on all of this happening. And I never found any of it, but
Well, one of the viewers of our program mentioned, what would that guy be doing if he was on the run calling Art Bell in the first place?
if he was scared for his life, okay.
But if he was scared for his life, he would have given his name.
He could have given his name, but that is true. But if in that moment he was so scared and he was just trying to get information out to Art Bell because he had a line open for him because this dude is on the run and trying to escape the people who are after him, then I don't know. Again, we could talk about this for a long time, but I think it's legit. After everything I researched and really delved deep into, I really think it's legit. There are questions, but he didn't get the full conversation that he wanted out there. It
Right.
cut off way too soon.
Definitely. What I'd like you to do, if you wouldn't mind, would you do a poll?
We can do a poll, yeah.
I would love to see
how many people believe it or don't
because we've
believe
got 50 viewers right now
it. Okay.
watching this. So
Okay. Well, again, I will do that real quick.
all right.
Did somebody else? Let me see. Horror Junkie for Life also gifted a Late Horror Show membership to WWM. So thank you, Horror Junkie for Life. Appreciate that. Yeah, I'm going to take the unpin the message there, and I'm going to put a poll up. to see. You guys heard it just now, most of you. I'm going to pull the poll up, and you guys tell me, do you believe it or don't believe it? And I'd like to see what you guys think of, if you guys remember the show itself and what you guys think. So here's the poll. Go ahead and vote while me and Dave continued to talk about this. But yeah, that is the caller of the night. There is a couple of other good callers that called in, corroborating, well, not corroborating, but that were very interesting. That's for sure. I'm not sure where you want to go straight to the beginning of the show.
We can. I actually, let's talk about this a little bit longer.
Okay.
And then when we go to the beginning of the show, we've got some other callers. We've also got a little bit of Danny and Brinkley talk to do as well.
Yeah.
But what was kind of fun.
The buzz. ZZ gifted a late horror show membership to MOR. Thank you. The buzz. Really appreciate your comments on the channel, and thank you for that. I really do appreciate that.
Very nice.
29 votes and 59% believe and 41% don't believe. I'm going to leave the poll up for a little bit.
All right.
I'm so grateful for this channel and this wonderful group that gathers here. They are the cream of the crop, in my opinion, Professor Strangefinger. Thank you very much. Okay, go on, Dave. Didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, I just think it's a lot of the later callers after this happened and things started settling down. It's kind of like an earthquake. You have this massive earthquake and then a few little aftershocks, and people just start calming down and thinking more clearly.
Yeah. A
lot of the callers were like, you're not going to hear from this guy again. And, I didn't believe those later callers going like, I'm a person who does the cleanup. I'm the gap.
You mean the Area 51 callers? Yeah.
And that was kind of like, look, dude, we know we're not going to hear from this guy ever again.
Well, that dude you're talking about the one guy who called in, and you could tell in his voice that he's just putting on an act. I mean, and he's like, I'm the cleaner. Yeah, I use acid and
I dig holes out in the desert.
Yeah, it's like, come on, dude. I mean, so yeah, totally fake. But this one, man, his voice, the way he sounded, everything around it, just, I believe it. I really do.
And it was also so late at night too for this to happen, because this was toward the end of the show. So this is probably about 2:00 in the morning when this guy is fully up, fully scared. And I know for me, I got away because I pulled the covers over my head and safe from the MIB guys coming to get me.
Oh, I was so intrigued that night, Dave. I mean, this show, it hooked me, and I watched it. I listened to it every single night after that to see what is this show going to be about next. And it never, ever disappointed me. I mean, that is just what I love about Art Bell, and why I'm still so many years later re-listening to these things. Like it's new to me, I mean, yeah. Kathy says, I want to believe. Well, the sad part is, like, people called in and said, what a great caller and stuff like that. And like Kat says, I want to believe. But then on the other side, if it's true, this guy's probably gone. And, it's a shame what happened if it's all true, but we never really will know. So, but hey, Kathy, hello to you. And his YouTube has been crashing since his last update. Oh no, that's terrible. Yeah, thank you, everybody. So yeah, no, Dave, let's go over to the poll. Let's see what it is. It looks like we've peaked 34%, 34 votes. And I think I can end it there. We do got 55 in there, but it's never, some people can't vote. I don't know. They can't see the poll or anything like that, but let's end it. And I think that's a good representation. I think just a little bit more are believing it than are not believing it. 55 to 44%, 34 votes. So there you go, Dave. Yeah.
That's terrific.
Yeah. If it's true, it's nuts, and yes, yes.
Yeah.
Well, hey,
But
the thing is, listen here. This is just Art Bell. This is just a guy who called in and could be or could not be real. Okay. Everything points me to 80%, I believe it's real. It's pretty high percentage. I leave that little bit because I don't know for sure. But you talk about how is that possible? Would that really happen? How many times, Dave, have you've been a big Art Bell fan? Have you heard of some of these like big scientists or people involved with the government who worked in the military or were in the process of like trying to get some of the whistleblowers and stuff like that, and these people end up dying? They're gone. They're dead. And then the person involved with that guy ends up missing and dead. These are real stories. You can look them up, of these people who ended up dying of mysterious circumstances,
Mhm.
And if you're sitting there right now, and I'm looking at everybody who's going to ever hear this, and you don't believe that kind of stuff is they're capable of doing that kind of stuff, I guess I should shut my mouth, Dave.
I don't want to be the solo person on this next week. I don't have the restring
Oh,
team.
zip my mouth. But all you have to do, Dave, is go back in history, and you're a history buff. You know that. You've listened to Art Bell. You know all the experiments that went on during the 50s, 40s. That you listen, you go, and I'm not going to even talk about it because they're disturbing, they're horrible, and how you could do that to your own population. And I'm not stating specifics because I don't want to get in trouble.
Well, think
It's
about
happened.
too what that guy said about moving the populations out of the major metropolitan areas. Number one, could we even possibly do that?
Well,
And two, would the government even want that?
no,
You know,
no. And the only people it would help is the important people who would get to the safe areas to begin with.
right.
And like you said, they would never call of arms, get the people into, whatever safe location. It's just not going to happen, So, anyways, that's my kind of spiel on that whole thing. Not everybody's going to believe it, but I it's what Art Bell is all about. And
Absolutely. This
yeah,
is cream of the crop, Art Bell.
cream of the crop. And I think we can go to listen, there are a couple of other interesting callers to talk about. That's for sure. Whether I believe them or not is another story.
Yeah, and before we go on, I want to talk about principal photography there in the chat.
Yeah.
A little while earlier, they had mentioned I had no idea who Art Bell was until I listened to the show I'm in England. And so, welcome, first of all.
Really?
And I'm
Okay.
glad you found Art Bell and found us.
Oh, through this show that we're doing here, Principal Photography. I've seen Principal Photography on other streams for quite a while now. Few and far between he's chatting, but definitely good to see you. And yeah, if you found it here and found out about Art Bell, man, keep digging. Listen, man, because there's quite the archive out there. That's for sure.
There is.
Thank you, Professor Strangefinger. I appreciate that. Yeah, much love to each and every one of you out there. And,
I wanted to also bring up, this always reminds me of all the German scientists that we brought over in World War II.
Yes.
That we basically took and stole, and all of a sudden they're just out working in the desert somewhere. I don't think they had a choice. It's just like you are here and you are miles and miles and miles away from anything. And
again, yeah, that's what I could go on with, what actually happened during those times. Late 40s, 50s, peak experimental government stuff going on, which let's move on, Dave. Let's get to the beginning of this show and talk about, I don't know. I don't,
Well,
you got to be scared. I don't know.
yeah, you do. But a couple of the things. Do you want to talk about a couple of the other callers first?
Sure. Oh, yeah.
We'll talk about Steve.
Okay. Well, that's the other main caller that I think is important to talk about on here, whether it's true or not, and the guy's real or fake. Let's talk about all the things he had to say, because he was an interesting caller, that's for sure. And Christopher McGall, a wildlife biologist, I have really bad bubbly guts. Okay. Moving on.
Well,
Okay.
Connie knows what to do.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about Steve. He worked as well as lived at Area 51, and
Yeah.
he was
S4.
Oh, I'm sorry.
He made sure to specify, because there's Groom Lake, S4, there's many different areas that consist of Area 51, and
That is true.
specifically S4.
And he was ordered to discuss S4 with Art
Yeah.
Bell, because they knew he was going to be talking about it tonight. I guess this was also a show that had been scheduled for Saturday, and then it ended up he didn't get to the topic and it came out on Sunday, which, if you can imagine, how weird would that have been for that extra caller at the very end of the show?
Yeah. You know what got me with this guy though was he kept referencing so many old shows that Art Bell did, like the Men in Black line and stuff like that, specific people and places. So he listens to every show every night. You know what I mean? So if he could be working there at Area 51, and then late at night he's listening to Art Bell. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I mean, what else do you have to do at Area 51? What
That's true.
they got a arcade?
Well, I would hope so. I would hope they had entertainment for the workers and stuff.
I don't know. I think it's kind of a work factory where you go back to your, mess tent and you just, grab some gruel and you go to the latrine and you have your late night radio shows you listen to.
Hey, Shay Mania?
Chaz Minna.
Why did I say Shay? Shay is
You're trying to be like me.
Yeah, Chaz Mania. Sorry. Thank you, Dave. Man, I'm terrible. Anyways, so this guy begins to talk about all kinds of like in-depth stuff, like Earth and parallel timelines, because he's saying everything you see at Area 51 or S4 in particular, where he works and lives, is not from outer space. It's all interdimensional, and it's not from stuff that's actually at S4. He started to, and this is what was weird. If they put him on here to talk about something specific, he was very bad at doing his job.
He was. He did bounce all over the place. But I mean, he
talked about garbage, everything that came there that even Bob Lazar saw and stuff like it. It was like a junkyard. It's like, where would you put the good junk?
Look,
the good saucers that crashed, you wouldn't just throw it away. You would bring it here. So the things you see in the sky above Area 51, those were interdimensional, the parallel universe. And he went on and on and on. Go ahead, Dave.
Are you sure?
Yeah, no, yeah.
Right.
Some of these shows get me going.
This guy was on like for 20 minutes, talking about everything under the sun. A couple of things I really enjoyed him talking about was that at Area 51, there are flying saucers, but none of them work. They're all crashed. And it just started reminding me of Sanford and Sons, because we have to mention Sanford and Sons in every stream that that Dino and I do. But it's just kind of like you got all these old crappy saucers, and then those saucers that you see flying, they're coming from somewhere else. And that was, I thought, really, really cool.
Yeah, I mean, it is interesting. But again, Bob Lazar talks about back engineering and, the saucers that are there. And I guess even if it was junk, or whatever, crash saucers that this guy, Steve, said is junk, I guess you would still wonder try to back engineer the technology or anything that's in there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I do get that, and the fact that he's saying it's interdimensional, what is above them, does make you wonder that okay, so they're paying attention to this Area 51 S4 area, and constantly hovering above the space above this place, and
Well, I think a lot of
Keeping that.
times when people talk about UFOs and things like that, isn't it where like there's nuclear testing or bombs being blown up and things like that? And that's what happened at Groom Lake, wasn't it? It was just this basically disposal for, you know, highly radioactive bombs. And I remember this one guy who walked through Groom Lake. Uh,
Yeah.
he walked through it at night so he wouldn't like get caught, but it took him several days, and he was going to write a book about the Death Valley 49ers, basically these guys who were in Death Valley and they separated off from their group, and I don't know if they died or whatever, but he wanted to go through their pathway. But then he ended up getting like this horrible cancer, and it just really affected him because they had all this radiation from this area. But that may be something that, the UFOs are coming in on.
Yeah. Listen, when that's a whole different show. Interdimensional, coming in through portals, vortexes, which they talk about in kind of the guy who came back from the future, Area 51. No, I forget who he was.
Now, I also wanted to say a couple words, and I want to have you do the art bell on this.
Okay.
The Supreme Commandant told me.
The Supreme.
You remember Art Bell's response?
I'm trying to think. Supreme Commandant. No, what did he say? I can't remember.
It was so good. The guy was talking about, we're doing this, and the Supreme Commandant said, we needed to do A, B, and C. And Art saw, Supreme Commandant? Rewording it as a question. That's
the way he said it, yeah.
Oh,
well,
man.
because what do you get out of Supreme Commandant? I mean, you kind of get, communism. You kind of get, kind of that German kind. Anyways, I'm not going to dive deep into that, but yeah, wrong word for that. But isn't Steve the one that talked about?
He brought up Richard C. Hoagland. He brought up things that happened in the 1980s, which I did not get.
The time traveler was the one talking about how we got the one world order, and we'll get to that.
Yeah.
We'll get to that. But this guy went on and on about, I guess the big thing he wanted to talk about was what was going to happen a year from now about the revelations, and that were going to happen in July 20th of 1998, which referred back to, like you just said, 1986.
Right.
Where the original plan of the Supreme Commandant was to, and he was beating around the bush on a lot of what he was saying. When he got to that point, it's almost like his brain kind of lost track of the script. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he was just like really all over the place. He started talking about people from Manilos. Those were a type of alien race.
Well, that kind of cracked me up because that reminded me of our Wild Wild West show just the other day.
Yes. Oh,
it was like one of the cities.
Yes.
Manilos. Yeah.
But the Manilos, it was a alien species that not from interdimensional, that came in. They actually, he says, they took over Area 51.
Yeah.
They're in control of it, which kind of contradicted some things,
about how Area 51 was all about making weapons, was really its real purpose.
Wait, say that again?
That Area 51's main purpose was to make weapons.
Well, again, initially, it may have started out to make weapons and aircraft and stuff like that right after World War II. But then UFO crash. Then it became top secret. And then, it was a place that they could bring everything like crashed UFOs, saucers, things that they didn't want anybody else in the public to know about. So that's where they took it all. And so, but even though it started out as that, like this guy's just giving you the history as he knows it, like he wrote the book on it. That's all. I mean, again, I think the guy was full of crap. I mean, when he started talking about, it was the people from the planet of Manilos, and they took over the area S4. And I wondered, well, you said they told you to get on to talk tonight. Do you mean the people of Manilos, the aliens that inhabit this planet? I mean, I didn't understand that. Towards the end of his call, it started getting very vague and very all over the place. And I'm like going, you lost it, bud. If they bring you on to talk about stuff, you're kind of making a fool of yourself. You know what I mean? So
yeah. I will also welcome William Cromer, who just joined us.
Yeah.
And I will also mention, where are they now? Hold on.
I don't know.
Professor Strangefinger took my Barry Manilow joke that I was getting ready to say, but whatever. That's cool. That's fine.
Well, but talk about pina coladas or something like that.
That's right. And getting in the rain.
What was also funny was he said when they took over these people, he called them people, the people of Manilos, which makes me think, did they look exactly like us? You know what I mean? I don't know. He didn't elaborate on that. He just said the people of Manilos took it over, and their mission was to create 40 years of the Cold War, which they did.
Yes.
But that's easy to say, right? I mean, he said they first went to the Soviets, told the Soviets that we are after them, which kept them on their tiptoes, and then came to us, which I don't know why they would come to us if they were already here and they took over Area 51. So lots of things that just didn't make any sense with that caller, Steve. And another thing that he did say, which I also thought was a bunch of bull, which I think was the topper for me and just made me go, okay, this guy's got a different agenda. And I don't know. He said, in all these different dimensions, he said, Earth is the only planet with intelligent life. And he said, in every dimension. So, I mean, I guess he sat down and had a very long talk with the people from Manilos. And they said, but doesn't that kind of conflict?
Yeah, counteract what he's saying.
Yeah, because if the people from Manilos,
intelligent life when there's no intelligent life. I loved Art's going, I even question about it here.
Well, right. He said there's people from Manilos who came and took over S4. Manilos is another planet in another solar system. But then again, he ends kind of the call with Earth is the only place with intelligent life. It contradicts everything he just said. Yeah. So even though it was a great call, very interesting.
Yeah.
His voice, the inflection, everything just didn't convince me one little bit. Anyways, that's my thought process on that.
Well, I still liked him better than our next caller, who was a future Area 51 worker when Area 51 becomes our nation's capital.
Oh, that's the time travel guy?
Yeah, but he's in a Winnebago driving down the street. And
is that what he said? He's in a Winnebago? Okay.
Yeah, he's driving a Winnebago. He's driving his Winnebago down the street. And it was all about submersion into what American life was like in the 1990s.
Yes, he's from the year 2072.
Yep.
And he gets here, and it's interesting the way he describes how he gets here through time travel. I mean, there are vortex, and we know this now. I mean, kind of. There's ley lines on the planet. they all converge in what we call vortex regions, which Skinwalker Ranch is kind of an area like that, where technically portals can open. If again, it's very, do you believe, do you not believe? The science is there behind it, behind the ley lines, the energy that you can find in these regions and stuff like that. Stonehenge is another area. He says these are the areas that down the line, somewhere around, I think he said 2050 or somewhere around there. I forget, Dave. But
Well,
they
2055
2055. Okay.
is when they figure everything out.
Yeah, they figure out how to actually travel and use these vortex regions to time travel, basically. And the way he says it is he just walks out of the portal like a Stargate.
Yeah.
And he's right there in the desert.
And he doesn't need anything to get him back. Because I guess that was a big issue that he was saying, that if you travel back in time, you need the equipment to bring you forward in time.
Yeah.
But once you hit 2055, we figured everything out, which I think is very interesting, as well as being like H.G. Wells' Time Machine movie. You can go forward in time or you can go back in time.
Yes.
And that,
what a great movie. Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. Being able to sit down in there and just, yeah. Oh, that was so great. The thing that got me with this guy too, Dave, though, is, again, how rare is it that an actual employee is going to call? I think what we started off with, I think the guy, that's your best bet on a real caller. This guy, he starts to go into everything we talk about with some of these guys, like Ed Dames and everybody else.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's, we're going to
The
have
nation's capital. Yeah, go ahead.
I was just saying, because I live in that earthquake region, it's just like we're going to have an earthquake. It's going to be the winter of 1999. And then I'm thinking like, well, is this winter 1988, 99, or is this 99, 2000, or, how?
Well, according to all the guests that came on to Art Bell, who was making money, and they all had books, and they were all very knowledgeable and were very important people in the field, all said, California, you should be in the ocean right now. California and that whole western area was supposed to drop off after a huge earthquake that was supposed to happen. And floodwaters were supposed to rise, and it never happened. But this guy, he talks about after
we didn't take the
No. But this guy, this caller from the future, from 2072, he talks about after the year 2000, nation's capital, after becomes Area 51 becomes the nation's capital, he says.
Right.
So he says that
it's a secure area, lots of room around you, so you can see people coming from miles away. It's really secure. As one person said, who knows what's under the ground in Area 51? I mean, this is one of the cool things, I think, that if we do, like, human life disappears and then regenerates hundreds, if not thousands of years later, they're going to find Area 51. And they're going to go down level after level after level. There's probably at least 8 or 9 levels deep into the ground.
Oh, who the heck knows? I mean, it could go on.
And I
they
think
they say there's underground connecting whatever bunkers and buildings and stuff that connect all over the country. So yeah.
So
from
I
Washington D.C. to the West Coast.
Wow.
Oh yeah, it's amazing, man. But he also says it will end up being a one world government led by the United States. And Art Bell said, well, that's good. So he also said, and again, it's 2024, Dave. He said this is after the beginning of the century, which is the year 2000. And he also says that there will be several races living with us, meaning other species of alien life forms. I don't know, intelligent life. many which look like us. And I do like that there is a caller later on. Do you remember this caller who ends up saying, he goes, yeah, the guy who called in from the future, and he called up and he said, there will be peace. There will be no more racism. He thought he was full of BS. He says, how the heck are we going to get along with alien species who totally look different than us when we can't even get along with people down here who don't look like us, whether it be,
Well, even
black,
a later,
white, whatever, you know what I mean?
yeah, even a later caller, and it may have been the same one, said that there are aliens here now from different planets, and
Well,
they are from the different races. I mean, if you are, from country X, you are actually from a different planet,
right. Yeah.
And,
He was basically saying that if, yeah, all the races, like we got racism, black, white, you can go Asian, you can go whatever, he said that they're each a different race. And you know what? It got me thinking. It's like it's something you can, if you're into all of this, it's something to ponder. I mean, I know.
it made me think.
Yeah, I mean, evolution. Sometimes evolution, if you dig deep into all of this Art Bell stuff and the paranormal and history and the mysteries and the unknown, it does make you wonder about evolution. I know that there's some sort of evolution, like species to species, and how they evolve to, maybe grow fins to the, in a shorter period of time. But it's also very complicated when you start talking about the missing link. And if there is evolution, where is the jump? You don't usually see the jump from one to the other. You don't see it. So I don't know. It's very interesting to talk about. I'm not saying I believe any of that, but it's just something to make you think. How about that?
Well, I think, a great analogy is the same jump we had in technology when we had the transistor invented. All of a sudden, it's just like, boom, we've got this element. Where did it come from? Who thought of it? And, we don't know. Art also, right at that time, makes a comment about what would happen if an alien landed in a major metropolitan area. Door opens, green guy walks out, and Art says that he is going to be full of lead by the time he gets to the bottom of that ramp.
Yeah.
Do you think that's exactly what would happen?
I don't know. I don't think we think like, hey, Bubba, what's going on? Good to see you. I don't think it would happen that way. I don't know. I guess if we just say if a UFO landed on the front lawn of the White House and somebody started to get out, would they just blast it away? If an alien species started to walk out, I don't know. That's a tough question. I mean, if it's the White House lawn, maybe, but even then, I think you got to think this is an intelligent being that traveled from afar or interdimensionally. Listen, they got one up on us. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
I would think with everything we've learned through movies that if you shoot, it's just going to bounce off of them. Like I just talked about the outer limits yesterday and the galaxy being, and how military's there, they're shooting at them, just throwing everything at them. And, and even in most of the movies, it doesn't work.
I will say I had to come back and watch that episode later last night. And every time you started talking about the radio, I started singing "Turn Up the Radio."
Turn up the radio. Yeah, because he was using the power. Yeah. Dino, I checked out our school record at Pova. It's 13.6. Glad I remember it. What? It's 13.6. Woo! It's 15 feet here, Edward Stewart, and we're a Division III school, very small. Anyway,
yeah, but the air's lighter in Cleveland compared to down in Florida.
No.
Yeah, because we're further away.
Oh wait, Florida. Yeah, you guys are kind of well, Ed's in Florida, and the moisture holds them down. They can't jump as high up. I don't any whatever. Okay, so I mean, what else? The Area 51 caller, the next one that can we move on to him? The door.
Yeah.
And this guy stands out over the years too, because I think Bob Lazar did come on after this caller. I don't know how long after he came on as a guest again, but and he confirmed it kind of. He said, yes, he was right. This Area 51 caller, and he sounded legit. He said, I'm going to stay on for a short period of time. I'm going to tell you three things. You want to know if it's a real Area 51 caller or not? Ask him these three questions, he said. He says, ask how they pay for their meals. He says, ask them what color is the second door. And then he also says, how do they get there? Okay. And then he did throw in one last thing. He said also what they do with the trash. So those are kind of the four questions. He said, ask them that. And he kind of just like, that's it, Art. And I'm done. And Bob Lazar kind of confirmed exactly what he said later on. So he said, those are all questions that I think an employee there would, ask. And that, because I don't think Art Bell actually got the color of the door.
I don't think he ended up being able to say any of the answers. The guy's all, pull me down. I'll tell you the answers off the air. And Art Bell's all, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I really hope that
those movies
upcoming Art Bell broadcast that we do, we get to talk about it. Bob Lazar.
Oh yeah, I think maybe the next one we'll talk Bob Lazar. Okay. Okra, those movies are not reality. I hope you know that I know that. Okra. I know they're Hollywood movies and they're not real.
Oh, and then you started mentioning 60s sci-fi last night. Oh God.
I know. Sorry to do that to you, Dave. Well, I said Dave,
I know you called me out.
Yeah, Dave just, he'd probably be like, come on, man. But, that's what I loved about it. It was the era of scientific discovery and nothing really made sense, but that's what was great about it. But anyways, let's move on.
There was
so that caller.
Yeah.
And then did we have another caller?
Yes. The one that I wanted to talk about was the guy who, as a kid, his dad was a trashman at Area 51 or something like that, did recycling. And he says that he brought home a book on UFOs from Area 51. And I thought that was really cool. And Art Bell's all, is your dad still alive? And the kids all like, or kids, old man then was like, yeah, my dad's still alive. He goes, you want me to, get in touch with him and find out what happened to that book? And Art's like, you're damn right I do.
Yeah. Anthemac. Love Art Bell, listening to Manchester, UK. Keep up the good work, guys. Thank you. And that I just remembered. I'm going to be doing some shows, Dave, because let me tell you what I came across.
Yes.
I had something that I wanted to get rid of through Facebook Marketplace. That's a place where you could trade, and some guy messaged me and said, listen, I noticed that you do a paranormal show and I'd like that. If you're willing to, you can have this for that. So I'm going to do a stream coming up real soon about what I have. Let me explain what I have. It's a scrapbook about this thick, and the book is huge. It's huge, green, thick. And on the top, it says UFO archaeology. The guy put on there this, and I opened it up and I'm like, wait a second. It is filled with, it's like something you would get out of the X-Files. Somebody who's like tracking down UFOs and aliens and stuff like that. It's like David Duchovny's character, I've got to save every news article. That it has hundreds and hundreds of news articles that were cut out of all kinds of papers.
Wow.
And there's small incidents that are not archived and you wouldn't see anywhere except for a nice local newspaper that printed up this guy claims to have had an encounter with an alien in a UFO late one night. And then it gives the date and stuff like that. And it's filled with this. And I am going to bring this and show it. And then I think I'm going to read these articles and show them, because Dave, I've never seen nothing like it before in my life. It's just, these are articles that from newspapers that, you know, most newspapers are gone and they're gone, you know?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Especially tracking down the little UFO incidents or reportings and stuff like that. Goldmine, man. I'm like, dude, yes, of course I'm taking this. So I have that and it's going to be awesome. But anyways, what else do we got here?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry. The one thing that did get me about the guy in the future, though, from 2072,
Yeah.
He says virtual reality is only the beginning. This is 1997.
Yeah.
And he goes, virtual reality is only the beginning of what you are going to see in the future. And I'm like going, how does this guy know this? I mean, I use virtual reality almost every night because it takes me, you know, away from this planet. But anyways.
Better than aliens doing it.
Yeah, but what a weird thing to say, even though I don't believe the guy. It's like, what does he know about virtual? That was really weird. But go on, Dave.
Well, I was just thinking with the other person who had the dad who brought the UFO book home, and along with your particular story of the scrapbook, that sounds, I can't wait to see that and hear some of those articles being read. But also Jackie Gleason, you know, huge UFO guy. And I wonder what happened to his UFO library of books after his death.
Yeah. And Dan Aykroyd, another one. Who,
yes. Yeah.
Yes.
I just don't know how to reach out to Dan Aykroyd, though.
Yeah, I don't know. But definitely very interesting. Should I play my call? Is there something else to talk about, or should I just skip my?
Not besides your ginger ale. What variety is it again?
Oh, it's Canada Dry.
Canada Dry.
Okay. Ginger ale. Yeah.
My grandparents and for us, we did Schweppes.
Ah, that's another one. Yeah, Schweppes. We were saying Verner's, Seagram's, Canada Dry. Let's use Schweppes. Yes. The only reason I wanted to play my call was kind of to show you.
The only reason?
Well, no, I think it's interesting to see.
Oh, Black Roses had a great comeback. They went to the moon, Dave, to the moon.
Oh, that we had another caller on this episode too that talked about the moon landing. Somehow they started talking about the moon landing.
He was just doing the honeymooners.
To the moon day. Okay, yeah, I gotcha. Okay. But there was a guy that talked about it and he said, we didn't go. He remembers seeing the video go over and it showed a Roman numeral on the rock, and then they lost transmission. So, but what do you think? Should I show that just to compare it?
Right, definitely.
The Area 50. Okay. So I played the Area 51 caller at the beginning.
Do you want to play him back again? Back to back?
I could. Let me play this one first. So to set it up, I ended up towards the end of Art's career before he passed on. He had a show, Midnight in the Desert, when he was trying to do it on his. I'm not going to say became friends with him, but I am friends with Art Bell on Facebook, and we did talk a few times, and we conversed back and forth through messages and everything else. And the night before this show, we talked, and he said, "Yeah, tomorrow night I'm going to be doing a losing my mind line." Okay, where callers call in and they're losing their mind. They can't control themselves. They're losing their mind. It could encompass anything. being the actor that I am, you be the judge. A lot of people said this. If you look in the comments on YouTube, this is on YouTube. If you just type in Art Bell vampire, the clip is up there, and a lot of people go, "This is the same guy that did Area 51," and I'm like going, "No, that's me. This is me. This isn't that guy." But I kind of called in, and listen, you're going to hear me make a fool of myself. You're going to make me or hear me act like I'm losing my mind. Okay. And Art knew I was going to call in. And here it is. Let's play it. I want you guys to hear it. As compared to the Area 51 frantic caller. Okay, so here we go.
Art?
Yes.
Yes, this is the losing my mind line, right?
Yes.
Yes, well, I'm definitely feel like I'm losing my mind.
Are you going quickly or a little bit at a time every day?
Pretty quickly here. I'm fighting this thirst for blood that I've got right now.
You mean you don't mean human blood, do you?
Yes, I do, Art.
You do.
Yes. I like to take frequent walks in the woods we have here at night, and I was attacked, and I'm not sure quite what happened because it was just a blur.
Okay, let's go back a little bit. You were attacked. You were bitten by somebody?
Yes, it was dark, and whatever it was did come from above in the trees, I think. I'm not sure.
So you mean it like pounced on you, or it flew down and got you?
Shut up, Dave.
I'm not sure. The only thing I knew is the next thing I was on the ground, and I woke up in my basement.
Yes.
And this thirst for blood is the sickness that I'm feeling right now.
Yes, I get it. How long ago did this attack occur?
Art, this has been just in the past 24 hours.
Oh my God,
this has just happened.
Yes.
And like I said, I'm losing my mind. I'm going down fast. It's just very overwhelming. I can't even keep a straight mind.
Well, when you have a thirst for human blood, is it like, I mean, what can you compare it to? Is it like when you want chocolate ice cream, or even worse?
It's even worse than that. It's like when you don't have an appetite, but I'm very much in need for it. Something's pulling me towards that. I've even sliced a little bit of what I have on my neck myself where I was bitten, and that is what's pulling me. And
you mean you like took a taste of your own?
Well, the smell is driving me crazy. I'm losing my mind. I don't know what to say. I hope I make it through this night.
Stronger than bacon. So you might actually attack somebody.
Art, I hope not. I don't want nothing like this to happen. I always thought that vampires were not real. But I'm losing my mind, Art.
You really think you're a vampire?
If what I think happened, yes.
Have you noticed any change in your front teeth?
Nothing there.
Nothing there.
I'm just feeling very, very sick. Pains. I'm feeling cold. I'm starting to feel very, very cold.
So like hunger pains, except it's thirst.
Yes.
And if you give this human blood, do you think you'll feel better? Is that the feeling you have?
Well, that's what every vampire movie tells you.
It is. All right. Well, it sounds like you're in. Yeah, it sounds like you're in pain.
Okay, Art. I needed to talk to somebody. That's for sure.
Well, I hope you feel better, and I hope you make it through the night. There is going to be a big moon, a super big blood moon.
I know that's gonna come. Can I put a shameless plug out there too for me, Art?
Well, as what? Vampire?
A group that I really love talking in.
What group is that?
It's Talking Art Bell, Midnight in the Desert.
Yes, really?
A bunch of good people.
Well, they may be a bunch of good people, but now they know they have among them.
I hope not. I'm a big supporter, but what happened. This is only the past 24 hours.
Well, make a posting. Maybe somebody will volunteer.
Okay, Dave, come on, man. That was good. Listen, I gotta admit it. That was fun. Why did I shamelessly plug my group? Oh, what a fun show. Oh, that was great. Good night, everybody. Dave, you're muted.
I'm not muted.
Oh, you're just silent. You're like enough of
Yeah,
this.
I'm just
Dino.
silent. I'm basking in the greatness of
No,
your.
no shame, Bubba. I got no shame. That's for sure. Paging Dr. Howard, Dr. Fine, Dr. Howard. Jake Potts and the Academy Award goes to Dino. Thank you, Jake. I really appreciate that. No, listen, I was having some fun. I'm a big fan of art. I know art was done at the time, just about. I thought, you know what? I'm going to call losing my mind line, and I'm going to just have some fun with it. I remember the night I was pacing back and forth in the room and just kind of ad-libbing the whole thing, and it was fun. It was fun. Hey, Night Freight Talk Show. Oh, we didn't do thumbs up, Dave. So how many thumbs up do we have? Let's see.
Last time I checked was about 74.
78 thumbs up. 78 thumbs up. If you haven't hit it yet, please do. Please do. So Dave, yeah, I think that's kind of the whole show. I don't think we missed anything.
No. Early on, there was some talk with Daniel Brinkley the first hour. I thought that was cool.
Yeah.
Listening to these old broadcasts, it reminds you of what was happening in the world. I think most of us are about the same age. And so this is like just after the death of Princess Diana, which was really, really sad, just the previous month.
Yeah.
And a whole bunch of, still issues about that. It's also, I was going to ask you what you are going to be playing tonight for the overnights. I love the overnight stream title last night.
Do you like the titles? Yeah. Listen, got to make it interesting and distinct, the titles for sure. Tonight is just a spooky, eerie mix bag. They're coming from the ground. That's the title for tonight. It's a mix of some Inner Sanctum, some suspense episodes, CBS Radio Mystery Theater. So you get a little bit of everything tonight. Yeah, so that's tonight. Yeah.
Last night, the title reminded me of one of those TV show, or the guy who played on Dragnet, one of his short-lived series.
Jack Webb. The body was on the asphalt, like it was garbage day.
Yeah, that was just so cool.
Right off the top of my head, Dave. I tell you.
And last week, next week, upcoming, we're going to be doing Columbo, Ashes to Ashes, which is one of the later episodes. I think it's like third or fourth from the end of the series. It is a 90s episode. It does star, besides Peter Falk, it is Patrick McGowan and Ruth McClanahan from the Golden Girls. So again, at a time she couldn't have been more popular. We also have Ron Masick in this episode as well, who will go on to later fame and Murder, She Wrote, but he's a great character actor. And I'm looking forward to talking with that to you next week. We'll be doing Seinfeld season 1 the week after, and then we will be doing the fan favorite Kolchak the week after that.
Nice.
So we have got a big series of things to do.
Oh yeah, and it's a 1990s Columbo next week, so be interesting to see a 90s version of the show. That's for sure. Thank you, Emily. Thank you, everybody. Make sure you hit that thumbs up on the way out. Next week, I got Night Gallery, I do believe. Yes. Going to hit another episode of Night Gallery. And I think the Outer Limits did good last night. That was good. So nothing else to say except